All right, off-stream replay review. Had a little bit of a confusion with some of the replay codes getting wiped yesterday. So the replay review that was supposed to be from yesterday's stream is actually going to be live today. Going to record this really quick for Janitor. This is a Platinum Tracer VOD review. Let's look through the forum and also look through the message here. Oh, I got to remind the thing here, a coaching session today. Give me 1 second. So we're going to treat this like a normal replay review. We're going to zoom through, look through the form, see if anything stands out, and then go over any questions in particular. So let's pull this up really fast here. Okay, so Tracer One Trick, obviously some questions in the forum have changed since then. We'll take a look at the message in just a second. I'll play with text chat completely off and find that it helps me mentally, helps my mentality in focusing on the next game. I play a bit of Overwatch 1 the last few seasons and return to Season 3 of Overwatch 2. Okay, 8 hours of sleep, awesome. What do you hope to get out of the session? Some guidelines to follow as a sound foundation I can always rely on. What are your long-term and short-term goals in Overwatch? Long-term, I want to be on an upwards trajectory skill and ranked-wise. In the short-term, I want to improve at the game. We haven't talked about training time, obviously, so that's something that I would want to kind of keep an eye on. That's something usually I'll go over in the discussion. So just take a look at your training time. Make sure that you're playing consistently, focusing mostly on competitive, and trying to play around 1.5 to 2 hours per day, especially if your goals are to go from plat to diamond. Warm up, if you have any questions with that, you can shoot me a message. But if you've watched a lot of my other videos, you probably already have a decent idea of what I recommend for that kind of stuff. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? My understanding of the game, I think that would mean game sense. Okay, sure. The concept of specifically timing is still hard for me to grasp. I also find my disengagements inefficient and dangerous. Okay, you're a Tracer One Trick. Now let's look at our DMs here and see what's changed. It's been about 2 weeks since I put in my form. There's been a few changes. I was gold 3 back then, but now I'm plat 5. The jump in ranks was actually after watching a few of your Tracer coaching VODs and applying the Vice in there. Perfect. So however, currently I feel like I still have difficulty timing my engagement. So I think it would be also helping the VOD if you could go over some cues I could look up for to know when I should dive into the fight. Right now I think it's generally supposed to be late, like right after the team fight starts, but just can't seem to nail visual or audio cues consistently to know when to join in. Okay, well, let's take a look at this here. So let's get the VOD review pulled up and let's get started. So let's talk about general cues that you should be looking for, and then we'll go into specifically about what they're going to look like in this particular game. The cues are tank cooldown trades, listening for damage actually going in, and then being able to see your team being engaged upon through walls. I think those are the two big things here. Now, what that may or may not look like is going to depend on the hero. So, for example, right now you're on one of the tougher tanks to get timing with, which is Sigma, because Sigma is a generally more gray tank. In other words, Sigma is engaged from range for a long time. He can be engaged early in poke phase. He'll obviously be engaged late in the engage phase as well. So for you, there's not going to be like a visual cue of my Reinhardt swinging, my Winston jumping in, Junker Queen shout. There's nothing like that that's going to kind of cue you. So you're going to have to be very careful listening more than just looking through the walls. So for us, let's listen. Let me actually get my earbuds in really quick here. So listening very carefully for cooldowns is usually a big cue, because every cooldown that is used is a cooldown that's not going to be used on you, whether that's, you know, a Kiriko Suzu, whether that's the ball staging on your backline with grapple, whether that's you hear a concussive mine from the Junkrat. Any of those things are going to be important. So let's look. I also think it's important to stage around where the fight's actually going to happen. So like here, this is probably totally fine. The ball has engaged on your backline. You saw him roll through. I actually think the main problem here is not the timing so much as it would have been perfectly acceptable as like the angle. I think this angle here would have been fine to engage from. So like right now is actually a pretty good time though. I think the angle is a little bit preferred for something a little bit further behind, which would split their attention. But I don't think that your engaged timing is actually too bad here. The disengagement is the thing you have to be careful with. So this is really dangerous. This is really, really dangerous. Your team just immediately melts. Like if we look at your Ashe your Ana just misses all the healing. She gets no healing and she just freaking dies. Like, that's like, you're just gonna lose the fight to that, and then your Ana's gonna die immediately afterwards, so it's just a big disaster. However, your engage timing was fine. Your angle was okay. The problem here is there's nothing wrong with just rolling back to spawn or going back to spawn, grabbing a health pack and waiting and hiding. So that not only are you more likely to survive because you're not engaging without a recall and with only one blink. I mean, look at this, guys. This is like your family portrait. I mean, look at this. This is you know, together, best friends, you know, like, no, this is terrifying, right? So don't do this. Instead, set up for next fight and preserve your life. When the fight's lost, don't run through it and keep fighting. Because even though you're like, oh, I got the kill, yes, but you're still not engaged on a flank. You see, you still have to run all the way out. I would have loved for you to have been able to live and stay back here so that as they push through the bridge, you have immediate access to that Kiriko, you have immediate access to that Junkrat, and so on. That kind of ties into your point about your disengagements are also very dangerous. And it's not just the danger of it, it's also the inefficiency of it, to where you are not set up for the next fight because you run all the way back to your team. This is fine. I wouldn't be panicking so much. There's a little bit of panic here. Like, you just need to blink back to cover, shoot, go grab the health pack, shoot. You're fine. It's a 1v1. Even versus a ball, you're fine. The guy doesn't have a one shot, right? Timing here is fine, because obviously you saw your Sigma engage, so it's totally fine to do as you did. This is fine. Timing here is totally fine. Now with the new Cassidy, you're gonna have to be really careful about like that engagement, but look at your timing here. You have the ball tied up, or your team is focusing ball while you are focusing Cassidy. You should have killed him if you moved a little bit smoother. Then that's gonna force the Mercy's attention over. The Pharah also looks over, and meanwhile their ball is dead. The angle is okay. Still would have loved to have come from the back, but yeah, I have no complaints with what you're doing here. The problem with you has always been, once you disengage, what's the next step, right? Do you stay on this angle? Probably. Do you listen on this angle? Yes. But you have a tendency... it's a weird habit you have. I've never seen it before, honestly. It's been 3 fights in a row now where you go from here, and you blink to here, and then you blink to here, and then you blink to here, and then you blink back. And then here there's a lot of just like random blinking around the map. And I've never, like, it's like we can't quite make up our mind. And I think that's an important thing for us to take a look at. So for you, your options are here. You can sit here and wait for them to push it to choke and kind of control this angle. A little bit risky, but it's not great. Okay, it's okay though. Your other option is to control this flank and angle here. And your other option is to wrap all the way around behind, sit, wait, and listen. And when the fight started now, to go in on that Kiriko, to go in that Cassidy. Okay? But you must set up, and you must set up with full blinks. Good? Now is a good time to shoot. We need you shooting. I just don't think that your setup was as good. That was scary. He's gonna res though, and you just left it, so that's unfortunate. One other thing to point out as well. You didn't need to recall this. So a really important habit to not build is the immediately recall. You had 2 blinks. Immediately blink over and grab the mini or grab the mega, and then go back and control the space. It seems like you're always in a little bit of a rush, right? And I mean, I would probably be fighting here. Okay, your Sigma's now dead. So now just wait. Now just wait. So you're up 1. You got a kill there. You could be shooting right now. You could be shooting right now. You could be shooting. So like, here's the thing. The tank is the primary person that you're waiting for. But if like both tanks are dead and then you get like the kill in the far or whatever, you know, it's fine to fight now, right? Like, it would be okay if you were to choose to fight then, if you'd like to, because there is a combat going on. There is a fight going on. And in here, the major problem, and this is very similar to what was happening on, where are we at? 318. Okay. This is very similar to what's happening on First Point, where your setup made no sense if the angle that you're more likely to fight on is here. So why are you over here? Would it not make more sense to hide here or here or here? That way you could spend less time walking, risk less about getting to the fight late. And so what happens here is this one's even worse, where you are here, but the cart and the fight is going to happen way over here. So it's like you're thinking about timing. You don't want to move until the fight has started. But remember, timing is all about your positioning. What you don't want to do, if you are here, you are ready and set up for the fight. You would wait until now and you'd go, right? So now you're going, right? But the problem is you're still not set up. Let's put it this way. It's like, let's say, okay, I try to get up every single day to exercise, okay? If my gym is in my garage, I can get up at 7:30 every morning and exercise and still be ready for work, okay? If my gym is 10 minutes away and I have to drive there, getting up at 7:30 isn't a good time because I have to travel to get there, right? I would need to get up at 6:45 or 7 instead because of the extra drive. And so what you're doing is you're worrying about like, oh, I have to get up at 7:30. I have to focus on my timing. But you're so far away that your timing ends up being bad anyway. Not only are you a little bit late, you're a lot late. You're a lot late. Like this fight is already over and done with by the time you even get here. You're not even engaged on their Cassidy Kiriko before you've already lost somebody because your initial setup for the fight was bad. This is you're not even in a position to shoot the Cassidy. And what's ironic is now the reason that they focused you is because you were so late that one of the members of their team were dead and your team had backed up. So now they turn their attention on you because your members of your team are either out or dead. So if you're so late that the fight is like already halfway over, then you're going to get focused down even if your timing is good, right? Because it's not good. It's late. Very late. Good angle. Good patience. A little bit of trigger discipline going on here. That's tough. You can't protect that body like you could have the other ones. That's all right. And this is the other. This is good. I don't know if I would have repositioned the high ground when there are other targets to shoot, but I think you're chasing the pharmacy, so it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. Okay, again, ask yourself, where is the fight going to happen? So where should I set up my angle, and where should I set up my timing? Right here, you need to turn around and go, okay, we're kind of holding here. So I can hold this off angle here. This is totally fine. The one-on-one. Totally fine to keep shooting the ball in a 1v1. It's okay. You're not by yourself. There's fight stuff happening here, so this is all good. Pick a target. I wouldn't be blinking in towards the Reaper. Certainly not blinking in towards the Reaper. You have much better range than he does, even with the spread change. I mean, not a good pulse bomb by any way, shape, or form. You had multiple blinks, and then you just kind of stood there and died instead of utilizing your blinks first, or maybe and then obviously he had Wraith and Suzu, so that was not a good use of your cooldowns. Just a little bit of a panic. You seem a little bit frantic with your play, and I think that's something that might come with time. And again here, obviously that 1v1 you need to win. You had your recall. So I would focus a little bit on trying to, again, pre-fight, where's the fight happening, where should I be to set up for proper timing, and then think about who can I be shooting from that angle, and then relax. Take a deep breath. Now's the time to go. I wouldn't be chasing Valkyrie Mercy like this. So here's a good question, and this kind of ties into your other habit that we want to talk about, okay? So you go for the Valkyrie Mercy, not the best idea in the world. Okay, not the end of the world. Fight starting. You want to be in an off angle. This is an off angle. This is an off angle. Use it. Use it. Don't go back towards your team. Don't use a blink mid-fight. Don't stand around. The fight is starting, right? You guys are spamming. You guys are shooting. And you could tell because, listen carefully. You hear the shots? Now is a totally fine time to go. Your angle is not good, and it cost you a blink. Good. Take an angle. Let's go. Let's go. Good. Nice. Stay on her. Good. You don't need to get the kill here. Just survive. Would not use my Suzu there. She has both TP and Suzu. Or not use my bomb there, rather. She has both TP and Suzu. So you really need to make sure that we're settling with our bomb a little bit. No pulse bomb recalls without using your brains if you have blinks available. No throwing out of pulse bombs. Plan your pulse bomb. Go into this coming fight and go, okay, let's say you didn't use it there. I'm going to find that Mercy or Kiriko or Reaper and pay really close attention and focus them down and see if I can force that cooldown that's going to let me get the stick. I don't care if you stick the Reaper when that Reaper when they have Suzu, right? I don't care. I would prefer you to practice by tracking one cooldown and trying to play around that one. Heck, even Monkey Bubble or Primal, or trying to whittle him down. He's a good pulse bomb sticker too. A pulse bomb target as well. Good. Timing is obviously good here. People are shooting. Good. Good. Whoop, careful. That's okay. You wasted her time in the Kitsune rush. Go back. Do it again. Good timing. Happens. So you can tell your timing was a little bit off here. Now I'm going to cut you some slack because the fight started and then had this weird pause because you fell off of high ground and then your team chilled. So watch this. You ever heard the term "all quiet on the Western Front"? Ever hear about the book or the movie? Both very good movies, I hear. I've seen the first one. All quiet on the Western Front. There is nothing going on. This is one of those mid-fight situations where you mess up your timing because there's a small lull and everybody stops and your team has disengaged fully. And so that now you are the one left exposed. In fact, there's nothing wrong necessarily with being in the castle waiting for them to walk out and then shooting. But you have to like sneak. You have to sneak. So what I would do here is if you wanted to play here, you might go over here and hide and listen, or go over here and hide and listen. Listen for the Sigma. Listen for the Reaper. Listen for the Pharah. Unfortunately, you don't properly disengage. And then also, everybody and their mother's looking at you because there is nothing else to look at. That's the timing issue that you have to worry about. Mid-fight, practice being able to keep paying attention about whether your team and the enemy team are still engaged. And when you could do that, just don't do that now, because crazy stuff's happening. Do that right now. You got a quick pause, a quick lull. You see that? You could even do that right now. Nobody shoot. Nobody shoot. Get out. Pay attention. So whenever you get the opportunity, one of the first coaching sessions that I did when I got back from my Overwatch League break is I talked about how to break tunnel vision is when you have downtime, when you're ducking behind a cover or corner, to do a quick awareness check, to do a quick periphery check. What's going on my left? What's going on to my right? What's going on? Where's my team? Where is the enemy team? That's a habit that you can work on to develop your timing mid-fight if you'd like. Because it's a little bit easier to work on your timing pre-fight because there's nothing else to do. But mid-fight is about finding those sweet spots, finding that sweet, juicy downtime, and actually getting good value out of it. So that's the first, but I will say that's like the first fight where I felt like our timing was a major problem. The other fights, it felt like we were very slow or late to the fight. A lot of very sloppy, just blinking around, moving, and then obviously some issues with pulse bomb. Go ahead. Your team is pushing out, so this is fine. I don't think you guys touched though, yeah. You could just fight and die here if you like, or you can run to their spawn and get out. Yeah, that's fine. Now listen. Oh, that's a kill. Oh. A kill in the kill feed usually means that something's going on, right? Grab that mega. Grab that mega. Come on. Grab it. 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 Or that's fine too. He is going to have a Wraith. We really got to work at tracking that, at least that one cooldown, right? Suzu, Wraith. And then now we need to go back in. Listen. Thank you. Go. Go. I would still be fighting there. You have your recall. The fight is going on. I know you're 110 HP. Go in and aggressively. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Blink, blink, blink. Shoot. Maybe recall back your HP again. You can't be... Try to avoid disengaging like that when the fight is in the middle of going on. Yeah, and then you're going to hold this, right? Surely. Yeah. Okay, nice. Okay. So, again, I think timing with us hasn't been bad. I think that we have to do a better job tracking things around our pulse bomb. Just even one thing, the basics, right? I think that you need to do a better job setting up your off angles around where you think the fight's going to start. No more going in spawn over here. Don't try... this angle isn't terrible, but if you put a little bit more thought, I bet you would have come up with this flank here, which would have worked. And then obviously setting up over here when the fight very clearly is happening way over here doesn't make any sense. Like, you're going to be very, very, very late to the party. Okay, I think those were the big ones so far. Let's keep watching. You can wrap around to the right if you'd like here. Fight is happening, so let's go. Good. I don't know that I would be running back to the tank line though. So for you, it's kind of similar to what we have. Like for you, I would probably be running back to here to cover. Stay on the flank. Don't run back into the middle of the enemy team. The problem with this is you don't see the soldier. You could get shot in the back. You don't see the Reiner May. You could be getting shot in the back. Do you see that? Whenever you're getting sandwiched as Tracer, unless you're going for like a quick one shot or somebody is like 1 HP and you're sticking them or something, this is really bad. Because you know what's going to happen now. I thought for sure you were going to recall. You got lucky. In fact, I'm actually curious why you didn't get your recall forced. You should have gotten your recall forced. Oh, the May's just not paying attention. The Rein May gets split. Okay. Regardless, you really need to stay on the periphery. You need to be you need to be, even if it's going back this direction, then stay here and then blink here and then shoot here and then wrap around here and then go here and then come here, right? Don't get in the middle of it. Don't ever have your back to damage, almost ever as Tracer. Always be looking on the outside in, taking off it. Nicely done though. I really like the point pressure. That was really smart. You timed it really well. So timing again, not an issue. I think very well done. Now please don't stick a Moira. Please don't stick a May. You had a problem with that, and yet we have another set of cooldowns here. I would be fighting. Like, you need to be fighting. Like, there is a fight going on right now. You can hear it. You can see it through the walls, and yet we're chilling. So this is where our timing is like, that's unfortunate. But by the time you even went for the May, the soldier was already dead. You want to guess what the May was doing earlier on in that fight? Take a guess. You see, that was the time to go, right? So by the time you actually go, the fight's already lost. So you're a little too late. And the way to check that, listen. You see that right there? Go. You're at least 2 or 3 seconds late. At least 2 or 3 seconds late. You could hear, cool. You turn around, you see the combat. It's time to go. Obviously, May not the most attractive option in the history of the universe. So maybe we could have set up a little bit faster, taken high ground, and then listened. Maybe we would have been in time to go for the Ana. But yeah. Uh-oh. So you can go through building again if you'd like. Oh. Unfortunate. Good angle. We're very late because obviously we didn't get set up. Good. Now there are going to be some times where like this, because you died, you didn't have time to set up a good flank. So you're going to have to take a flank in the middle of the fight, which means that you're going to be very out of the fight. That happens sometimes. The reason why I was so frustrated the last fight is because you had plenty of time to set up and you didn't set up properly. This time, it happens. That's okay. Good job. Good try. Soldier doesn't have a cooldown that you have to worry about, at least in terms of stick. Very nice. Don't recall. Don't do it. Break the habit. 120 HP. There's a mega near you. You're under no risk at all. You recall for 0 health and in actually a position that's not any better at all. We need to break that pulse recall habit, or to finish the kill recall habit. A really big one that we need to break. You need to get a better, almost a sixth sense of like, I am under danger, so therefore I need to recall. Case in point, right? That one made a little bit more sense. I would have preferred, in terms of setup, if you had instead taken the angle here, up here. This is a better angle for you because it's shorter sightlines. This one's a little bit too far open. But I appreciate what we tried to do there. But yeah, the problem here is that because you go for the you see how like you don't have a lot of good targets to shoot for, and guess who's on the high ground, right? Wait, no, that's not the one I'm talking about. Yeah, it's this old lady right here. So yeah, okay, not a great fight from us in terms of some of the mechanics and stuff, but the timing was fine. The angle just wasn't that good. Okay. Nice. We're late. We're a little too late. You could hear the combat. Now these situations, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is where it will be a little bit harder to judge timing. Because even if I look through the wall, I can see my team pushing forward, but are they like combating? I would say yes. I would say you are a little bit late here, but I understand it is a little bit trickier here. That being said, you are still very, very, very late. And as soon as you see somebody in the kill feed, you gotta go. You gotta go. Good. You're gonna C9 this. You are, aren't you? You are. Good. Very good. I mean, that's pressure, right? Objective pressure is pressure. Very nicely done. That's something that's very important on hybrid maps and escort maps like Gibraltar, Dorado. Cart push is a great off angle sometimes. Now, if your whole team is on the floor, it's not really an angle. But yeah, very well done. A little bit goofy movement, but this is fine. Now, this is where Tracer is hard on third point. I think right side is a pretty good wrap. Yep, this is fine. And this is again where it's hard, where you're like, do I have the time to wrap around? The fight has already started. So maybe you do something like this. You blink into here, and this is an okay off angle. I get it. It happens. There's the fade. There's the Colt. You could try and stick one of these guys if you want. That's fine. I think you guys just win this now. I would definitely wrap left side now, or just clean them up. Maybe they don't even touch. Obviously, timing here is just, you know, just shoot people. I think this is it. Yeah, so, okay. Big things for you. Your timing, for the most part, is okay, but sometimes you're a little bit too late because you're positioning. You're not doing a good job checking your team and listening to what's actually happening. But I don't even think that's necessarily the biggest problem with you. For you, I think you need to do a better job paying attention to where your team is actually setting up the fight and take your angle around that. Number two, we need to break the recall habit off of you finishing kills and sticking pulse bombs when you have plenty of blinks available, or you don't even need to blink away. They're just dead, right? Then save that recall. And then number three, you need to work on your pulse bombs. Not just the sticking mechanic itself, but the target and the panicking of just, throw it on a Kiriko, throw it on a Reaper, throw it on a Moy. No. Relax. Don't track the cooldown. Force the cooldown. Be more practice, you'll get more relaxed with it, but trying to be relaxed while practicing is a way to accelerate that process. But overall, I don't think you're too bad with your fundamentals. I think a little bit more experience will come with time. I could definitely see the progress from gold to plat. There's a lot of things like taking angles, like paying attention to timing. What was quite good as well. I mean, and your mechanics weren't too bad. Your movement mechanics were a little worse than your aim. Let's put it that way. But that will come with practice and time. If you have any questions, let me know. And hope you found this one helpful. Like I said, I'm going to get this one uploaded to you. If you have any specific questions, especially about like the training time and things that we didn't talk about, just message me along with anything else that you didn't get a chance to go over in chat, because yeah, that's it. All right. Cheers. Hope you enjoy the VOD review.